Valley Mole.
Hi, I'm David Smith and this is Valley Mole, the show that digs in and around Silicon Valley, searching for insights into technology news stories, the patent wars, and the business of startups. The National Venture Capital Association has reported that the returns for venture capital investors in aggregate has just turned negative over a 10-year period. So the limited partners investing in venture funds over the last 10 years have seen on average a negative return. Partly the reason for this is the lack of IPOs and the lack of appetite on the public markets for venture-backed technology startup stocks. Partly I think it's a result of just a huge growth in the number of VC funds that we saw starting in the years 1999, 2000 and onwards. It's a lot easier to generate positive returns from a small number of venture investors than it is when you have thousands of venture investors all competing in the marketplace. But a third reason for the lack of positive return and lack of success may be a lack of innovation. The venture investors are in the business of innovation, they back innovation companies. But the way they organize themselves and the way they organize their investments is remarkably rigid and lacks imagination. The typical venture fund is organized as a 10-year fund. It has a carry for the partners. The partners take a carry typically of 20% of the profits of the fund. And then they take a management fee that's calculated at 2% of the value of the fund each year. Then what they do is they invest in startup companies using preferred stock instruments. And the preferred stock instruments that are used by venture investors are remarkably similar and remarkably rigid. Now, perhaps with this lack of success that the venture funds have seen in recent years, we may see some creativity and imagination in the way that venture investors support their companies, they invest in their companies, and they help the companies drive them towards success. Now, one of the organizations here in the Valley that has bucked the trend, that has seen some great success in recent years, is plug-and-play technology centers. This is Plug-and-Play, home to 250 startup companies in this 150,000 square foot campus here in Sunnyvale, Silicon Valley. In 2006, Saeed Amidi and his real estate development company decided to do something creative with this building they acquired in Sunnyvale. Blending venture capital with startup incubation and real estate, they decided to create a startup community, providing tenants with access to venture capital and angel investors, a support infrastructure of professional advisors, high-speed internet access to large corporations like Sun, Yahoo, Microsoft, eBay and Google, networking activities and events, educational boot camps and programs, and connections to incubators and accelerators in high-tech hubs all over the world. This creative and holistic innovation model has proven so successful that hundreds of startups are now housed in plug-and-play tech centers in Singapore, Egypt and Los Angeles, as well as here in Sunnyvale, Palo Alto and Redwood City. Hundreds of millions of dollars has been raised by these companies and thousands of jobs created. This location in Silicon Valley has become popular as the US base and launch pad for some of the most innovative and exciting new companies to come out of Europe, Asia and Australasia. We don't yet have the data to see whether the plug-and-play tech center startups have a higher success rate than the average venture capital portfolio. But we do know that the model is attracting some of the most exciting startups and the smartest investors. Plug-and-play tech centers could be an example of how innovation can be applied to the venture investment and incubation business. Hopefully, initiatives like this will help venture capital turn the corner and start to generate positive returns for investors at some point in the near future. We'd like to thank the sponsors of Valley Mole. Tynax, the full-service patent broker operating the world's largest technology trading exchange. Silicon Valley Business School, the unique online resource for students and teachers of entrepreneurship, high-tech law and technology commercialization. And ValueMyPatent.com, the only place to go for rapid, realistic online patent appraisals.